Hello, Magpie. Hey, Magpie. How's everybody doing tonight? You let everybody know. Let's go live. Let's go live. Where am I at? And here. There we go. How's everybody doing? Where are we at? All right. Hey, Annie. Howdy, howdy. I see some new faces in here today. Where is everybody from? I'm from living now here in Arizona. Where is everybody else from tonight? I was born in Rome, New York, and then moved to the Memphis, Tennessee area most of my childhood. Lived in California for a little while, and now here in Arizona. What do I do with my CPT book? I know I'm going to need that. Where's everybody from? I got Massachusetts, St. Louis. Oh my gosh, I've been in that arch before. And I got all the way up to the top, got off the elevator, and the employee that was working at the top said, "Are you okay?" I guess I was about 3 shades of green. I do not do heights too well, but I push through it and like to do stuff. But yeah, heights get to me. Arkansas. I used to live in Little Rock, Arkansas, and in Little Rock, Arkansas. Yep. For one point in my life. Hey, Sass, how's it going? Thank you for doing that amazing video for me. It felt more confident that where I should be as far. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel and asking me to do a video for you. That's awesome. Happy to help. Hey, Georgia. Hey, Red. We got Georgia in the house. They have some beautiful homes in Georgia. Beautiful. Louisiana. I have vacationed there with my mom. North Carolina and South Carolina are places I have not been. I would love to go one of these days. My mom has been, but I have not. Hey, Susie. Good to see you. I've been working on the ICD-10 guidelines for 2023 already. Getting those prepped. I'm on to G8 if I have any more time tonight to get doing some more of that. But probably not. I got out of going to the gym yesterday, but I'm probably have to go to the gym today. We'll see. I try to get out of it again. Tonight I wanted to do radiology because somebody that subscribed to my YouTube channel wanted me to do radiology, and I haven't done that one yet, so I wanted to make sure I do a video for them or do those practice exam questions. Let's see. Some guidelines you really need to know is this paragraph right here on the guidelines. If you're in the 2022 ICD or CPT book, we're on page 525. And that last paragraph right here about oral or rectal contrast means that you will pick the code that says without contrast, because oral rectal contrast means it is just without contrast. It's interesting. Be sure you know about what a special report is. That sentence saying it is unusual, variable, or new and may require a special report. It's just one of those things they sometimes ask. Let's see, what else? Contrast can be billed with contrast if it's given intravascular, intra-articularly, and that other word, and then they'll have some more guidelines right there for those. But just so you know which ones you can bill as far as with contrast. Some other things I have in my notes is X-ray means unknown. We don't know what's going on with you. We need to see what's going on. If you want to know where the planes are, that's the page number, and positions are there. Separate procedure is sometimes on the exam. They should not be reported in addition to a code for the total procedure. Separate procedure is carried out independently. And then they've got a sentence about our modifier 59, which is important. I wrote a few things down like supine, prone, lateral, oblique, and anterior, posterior. That could be helpful during the exam. That's all. Hey, Melody. Hey, Go-Kart. Yep, open mindset. Major changes for 2023 so far. ICD-10, we've got 2,000 new ICD-10 codes when last year we only had 200 and something. It was a very few. So that's a huge deal. We have like 1,600 new CPT codes for 2023. Big deal when we only had 200 or less for CPT last year. That's why many people, I let them keep their 2021 books and use them for the 2023 because we had very few little changes. So it wasn't a big deal. This year, it seems like it's going to be a bigger deal. I only have the ICD-10 book right now. I'm going through the guidelines. So far, there's been a few sentences added to the guidelines, backing up other guidelines that have already been there. Nothing major yet, but I'm only on G6, so I got to keep going with that. Probably not a good year if you're not going to take the exam in 2022 by the end of the year, then go on and get your 2023 books, is what I'm thinking. You take your exam on Saturday, and I don't think I'll do well. Oh, think positively. What will be, will be. And at the very least, look at it as a learning opportunity. If you're going through the exam and you're really struggling, just take a highlighter and highlight all the codes that are on the exam that are possible answers. That's what I did the first time I took it. And then I went home and I studied those codes that I highlighted and learned about what the differences are between them so that when I took the exam again, I passed. Look at it as an opportunity. It's a way to, those pink highlights right there are codes that were on my exam. And I did my best and picked out what answers I thought it would have been. And then once I got home, I studied those for my second attempt and learned more about what the differences are and why we would pick one over the other one, and then went back and took it again. And please keep an open mind. No closed mindsets. It's not good for you. Be sure and take you some peppermints with you on Saturday, because studies show that students with a mouthful of these scored higher than students without. That's the only difference they did, was having peppermint in their mouth. Something about the scent and the brain, and it just makes you score better. So be sure and get some peppermints. Hey, PJ. I hope you can use the 2021 CPT book for the exam. You can for 2022. For 2023 year, you probably can't. You could use the 2022 HitPix book, but they won't let you use anything too old. Previous year is okay. Melody says her exam day is fast approaching. They all are. Time flies. It always does. You can do it. Love it. Yeah, use your 2021 from AAPC as long as you can, because it's got those important things in the back of the book that I should go through and look up a few more of those today too. Let's see. I took my first test Saturday and I couldn't get through all 100 questions in 4 hours. Then that means you must have been reading the questions from the beginning to end. And you can't do that. You will never get through the exam. You need to go straight to the answers, find the 4 different CPT codes that are the start of any question, unless it's anatomy, and then look at those differences. This one is general anesthesia. This is a stent. This is a expander, like a balloon that expands. And this is a probe. So all I'm going to do is skim the question for probe, expander, stent, or general anesthesia. That's all. I'm going to find one. I probably will look for multiple. I won't just look for general anesthesia. I mean, if that's it, that's fine. But if there was no stent and no expander and no probe, then great. But general anesthesia could have gone in with any of them. But anyway, that's all. You need to take 1 or 2 words from these CPT codes and search the question for that. If you're reading the entire Bob is here and he's 67 years old, and he has a history, and his mama has history of this, and his daddy has history, you're going to be there and you're not going to get done. There's no way. If you do it the way I've told you, you just look up the codes first. Already have your codes prepped with your 1-word differences. Grab those 1-word differences. Go to the question and search. You'll end up with 20 minutes left over to go back and do any other questions you want to go back and review. You will have some time left over. It's not easy. You need to practice it. So practice going to the codes first. There's 100 questions on the exam, and it is 4 hours long. You don't really need to get all the guidelines down. On my document that I have on my website at medicalcodingbyjen.com, what has been on the exam in the last 45 days, I think it's a $25 document. It tells you what anatomy was on the exam in the last 45 days or more. People that are taking that have scored as early as this week, 100s on their exams in anatomy, plus the guidelines. I have the top 10 guidelines you need to know there, and tell you which ones to know. You don't need to know every single one of them. Guidelines are only 5 questions. It's not as important as knowing the differences between these CPT codes. You took your exam today. How was the new exam site? All 100 questions all at one time. How was that, Mel? Hey, Sass. Get the individually wrapped lifesavers. My internalist told me to get it for migraines, opens up the brain flow in the blood. That must be what it does. It's very interesting, isn't it? How the peppermint scent can do medically things. They used to give peppermint as medicine, GI upset, all that kind of stuff. You finally got your CPC study guide. That's awesome. Just read it through one good time. Make notes of any dates and any bullet points that are on there, like, oral contrast and the rectal contrast don't mean contrast. Things that you can't remember, don't want to remember, want to have written down, you can write and move into your book. It'll prompt you too in several locations to tell you to move this to the codes affected. The AMA book for CPT is the AMA book to get. It is the only company that writes this book. So be sure and get the AMA one for the CPT. And you can get it from Amazon and you get free shipping. AAPC charged me $80 to ship 3 books, which is crazy, outrageous. But you can get this one from Amazon with free shipping. Now, the other 2 books should be AAPC. If you're sitting for an AAPC CPC exam, then you should get the AAPC ICD-10 book and the HitPix book. You're at a disadvantage if you don't get that version. I started school for medical coding, feeling overwhelmed. Any advice? Yeah, you could have self-studied and not taken a course, but since you're in the course, start copying every single chapter quiz question and answer that you have. Copy, post them into a Word document like this, and keep every single one, every single practice quiz question. Now, I mean ABCD ones. The fill in the blanks where you're having to go code and do all this busy work for your course, like you have to code URI or URI with sepsis or whatever the heck they're going to make you code. Not that. Anything that is just like the AAPC, A, B, C, or D answers, questions, save all those. Put those in a document where you can pull it up and copy, paste, and then put the answers in as you find those. And save that. That will be your study guide. Plus, you can move those practice questions. Little bit of scenarios you can write into your books. Like I had a practice question that was a parcel matrix of the right gray toe debridement, and the answer ended up being these 3 codes with that one modifier. Just writing that in next to the codes where it's affected definitely helps out. That's all you need. All your videos and all that busy work they're making you do, just listen to them once. Attempt a few of the coding scenarios by practicing getting to codes in the books, because you do need to get faster at getting to things. But don't take it to heart that you've got to read everything. If you can get let me go find my mouse real quick. I was moving stuff around today, working in the living room. If your study guide or anything else is on Vitasource or whatever else, like these bookshelf companies, or if your course has anything that is in Vitasource or any kind of, hold on, let me get to my books here. Sign in. Yeah. No, I don't need to redeem a code. I just need to go here. You can have the course read you the chapters, which is cool. Like with this book, I can have it read me if this happens to be a study guide or whatever. These little things will read out loud. You can, right over there, click the option, have it read it out to you. Where's my blackboard? Is that blackboard? No. I know I got blackboard. There it is, right there. So log on to Blackboard. So if you're in any of these chapters and it comes with your reading material, you see how it opens up Vitasource? Then you can have it just read it to you out loud. And then you can fold towels, do dishes, just whatever. Just have it read it to you. That's cool. Yeah, just have it read it to you. That's cool. You'll pick up on the language and that kind of stuff. And then, of course, watching the lovely videos. Just watch them once. Don't worry about taking notes or diving into that too hard, because they're super repetitive and they'll go over it again on those videos. The main thing is what you're going to want is those chapter exams and every answer and every question. And you're going to want to save those so that you can practice them at the end, plus move them to your codes that they affect. That way you'll have an entire course of questions and answers in your CPT book or ICD-10 book or your HIPICS book. That will be more helpful than anything else. Just hyper-focus on those exams is what you need, and then move those to your books. Yep, I even move the ICD-10 stuff. So, anything that coding hypertension, coding whatever it is, disease, you can move the scenario over there, especially the OB and delivery ones. Those are always good to put in the book so that you have those listed how you would code them. So if you had sepsis due to trauma, a burn or something, that goes first, then the infection, and then the R, and then the associated organ dysfunction. So just writing those little scenarios, what would be sequenced first, second, third, super helpful. That's how you handle those courses. All right. You're welcome. I wish I would have scheduled online rather than in person. Keep coming back there. I took my CPC today for the first time. What did you think? How did you like the online 100 questions, the new site, and the new, did you get online with your proctor on time? Was it an easy process, or was it just as difficult and confusing as before? I had issues with the medical scenarios as well as putting them in the correct sequences. I kept trying to remember these lives Yes, I did buy it. How do you think you did? Which exam did you have? It was good. And you had 30 minutes left? That's my girl. Good job. That's great. Where did you get this? That's great. The exam I took, you had to have a score of 300 to pass. Does the peppermint help you study better? I hope so. I had exam A and B to study, but I'm not sure what exam I took. I felt good about the test today. I'm mentally exhausted. I bet you are. I'm surprised you even decided to come on TikTok and look at any of this today. Where can I find these? I use the 3M at work and I don't like it. Yeah. 3M is something else, that's for sure. I saw a video on 3M today. It's like, ugh. Oh, where can I find these CPC chapter exams? Well, this is a paid course. So she had asked me a question about her course and what she needed to tackle for the course. So this is just one of their courses. AAPC does sell practice exams online. And to find those for CPC, you just go to CPC training on their website. And you're going to hit this start here thing. And then over here to the right, you'll see the words practice exams right there. You'll click there. And then over here, they'll have a list of A, B, C, or you can get bundles of A, B, C, D, E, F. That's 300 questions because each exam has 50 questions each. So you just check that box, and then hit I agree, and then hit add to cart. Do not buy the course or anything else, just those two checks. And then when you log on to my AAPC and you look at your purchased items, you will have a list of all the practice exam tests that you purchased. I've purchased a ton of them, so ignore all this, but you would end up having A, B, C, D, E, and F. You click on each one, it'll make you agree to something, and then it'll give you case one. And each one has 50 questions in it. And then you take these. You can do one question at a time. Like, let's see, this one. This is a size 5 and a size 5, so I know adding those two together because one's in a right leg and one's in a right arm. Extremities go together. That's a 10 centimeter something. That's going to be big. I'm going to be the biggest number there. So I'm going to go with a 34. Click answer, move on down to my grade, and then I can hit grade. You can do all 50 at once, or you can do them timed. They do have a little timer over there if you want to do it, or you can do them one at a time. I have 5 minutes while the kids are in the bathroom, and do one question at a time and view your rationale right here if you do get it wrong, and then go back, that kind of thing. So if you can't do them that fast, you need to work on it. You need to work on what do I need to know? What do I need to know? My differences here are simple lacerations or intermediate lacerations. And knowing that I'm already got layered closure, right there's my last two words, I know I'm going to be intermediate. And then the difference between the 32 and the 34 is just size, and 10 is huge. That's going to be my biggest number. So you just pick your D and move on. And you don't need to build steri strips or gluing something together, whatever this 002 is. You don't need that when you're already doing layer closures. Yeah. All right. But that kind of thing is super helpful. These questions are great. So we just need to know a difference in body part between the 11 and the 13. If you don't know that, you need to practice integumentary some more. Where are we at? Are we extremities or trunk? No, we're neck. Neck is going to be our 11. Then they all have 2 stages in it, because if I get rid of the 13s, because that's the wrong body part, this has a stage and that has a stage. If either one of those numbers is over the number of 5, then I can build the 15. So my first stage has 4. My second stage has 2 additional. Neither one of those numbers is over the number 5, and I don't add them together because Mo's are done differently than anything else in integumentary. So I know my answer's D, and then I can just hit grade. No one's going to keep track. You can take these tests over and over again as often as you please. But if you can't ration them out without looking at your CPT, few of them, you can keep practicing till you can, because that'll be handy. Ooh, our 80 and our 81. That means both or only one side of the knee. So we're doing one side of the knee meninectomy. It's not medial and lateral, so we know we're only doing one side, so it's only going to be the 81. So then you need to know, am I doing drilling and picking, or am I doing a bone graft, which is this code? This one is just drilling and picking. Do we see a bone graft? No. Bone graft is your 85, so we know our answer's B on that one. And hit grade again. And we got 3 right. These are fun. I hope they update them as of January 1st. They're supposed to update them monthly. Every once in a while we'll get a free new question, but usually they're pretty much the same for a year. Drilling and picking, partial. You got it, MK. So how do I pull up these tests after you purchase them from AAPC? They will be under your purchased items right there. And you will go to your items and they'll be listed right there. You don't have to buy as many as I did, but be sure, if you are taking the CPC, go on and get exams A, B, C, D, E, and F. That'll cost you about $150 to get 300 questions. Study those for your first attempt. If you do not pass, then I've got other options for you. Just get with me and I'll share with what else you need to do. But this should be enough to get you there. But if it's not quite enough, I got other options for you. Is that helpful? So some comments were filtered to protect the community experience. That's so weird. Yes, if you've already purchased a course from AAPC, sometimes they give them to you for free and people don't know they have them. So always go to your purchased items in AAPC website. Go to my AAPC, go to my purchased items, click the tab and hit items and see if you've got them. If you don't, then you just go to the training, go to CPC, exam training, go to start here. Then over here to the side, it's got practice exams. Click on that, and then they're all right here. And then you just check this box and that box for the 2 bundles. They're $79 each. Then tax. Hit I agree and add it to your cart. And then in 2 seconds flat, they'll be available under your purchased items. They're super handy dandy. That and the study guide is what I recommend you use to prepare yourself for the CPC exam. That's all you need. You don't technically need a course of any sort. The study guide has more information in it than even their course will. You can get any year because they just replace the cover every year. I have the same practice exam questions as 2022 version. And every page is super important, has tons of information in it, and just starts up right away. What's in Medicare Part A, Part B, Part C, and Part D? You need to know that. You need to know the hierarchy of providers for sure. It's just full book, and it has practice exam questions in it that you can move to your books, has all the anatomy and everything else you could possibly need in it. You can do a Google search and search for any bookstore that may have one, Goodwill, anything like that may have some, and find you a place that will ship you one with free shipping. People are getting older versions for $35 shipped to them so that they don't have to pay the $100 on the AAPC website. Previous years, just fine. Even 2019 is just fine. Those are good. The cases in the back are good. Hey, Twinkle. What? It took me all this time to look for the new emojis. Okay, stay focused. Yeah, they got, I don't know. This, like TikTok, no, YouTube gave me memberships with emojis and stuff. So did TikTok. Let me see if I can find them here. I created some. I was trying to show y'all. I don't even know. How would I find it? Let me see. Subscriptions. Yes. My emojis I made. I made our Skeletor guy. So if you become a TikTok subscriber, you can send these into chat. I have our out of code sequences listed. I have our hypertension, but my funny one is Travis as a madman. He was tearing up rocks in the kitchen one day as a kid, and he just looks so great with his mad scientist thing on. So y'all can share that if you become a member. I've got our moving our guidelines to our codes affected. I got me and James on the Disney cruise ship. We were pirates, or he was a pirate that day. And then I got our ink pens, and I got the pass symbol saying that you passed. I don't know. I didn't know what to put in there. I just put what was in my camera roll. But yeah, that's the subscription emojis that I was talking about. And I guess you got to send TikTok 75% of the money, and then we'll get 25%, and you can do fancy emojis. But the money, whether it's here or YouTube or anywhere, it always goes back into you guys. I give out free tutoring. I did one Sunday, and I did give out free notes of mine to people in need. So it all goes back into the community. You enrolled today in a medical billing? Awesome. Hope that you enjoy it. Hope it's well worth your money. Yeah, Marketplace as well. Thank you, Jessie, for the finger hearts. Those are so cute. Very, very cute. Are you able to make your own emojis now too, Twinkle? That would be cool if you could make your own. I didn't know what to do. I just added stuff from my camera roll that was of the right size. A lot of my pictures are too big because I have my camera on set big stuff. What else? Some other parent is telling me about the school system. Oh, gosh. There's always school issues. Always school issues. Oh, look at the little ghosty. That is cute. Thank you for the roses, Anointed. It's good to see you again. All right. Practice exam questions, right? What we're all here for. Y'all want to go over some radiology? Let's see. What else do we need to know about radiology? Some of the codes, the only difference is how many views, and what's included in some of the views can be kind of crazy. Let me get this over here. There was one recently. X-rays looks at the number of views, not the number of films used on the exam. That's important to know. Oral and rectal contrast does not qualify as contrast. This particular one X-ray, the 73600, is 2 views, but sometimes they don't say the words 2 views in the CPC exam question. They'll say anterior, posterior, and lateral views. You have to know that anterior, posterior equals 1 view and lateral equals another view. So knowing that kind of stuff is sometimes helpful. Don't forget about those view panels up in the front. ICD-10 book of what's most important. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else I wanted to say about any of this that was majorly weird or confusing? Just those, I think, are the most important. If you find a practice exam question that lets you know that the answer does have a modifier attached to it, I've been writing, 50 is okay to use for both sides. So if you find a correct answer that uses a modifier, always go to the code and add that info. It's okay to add this modifier if you did this, or if you can't use a ×2 or ×3 and you figure that much out, then write that info in on the exam. So let's see, ICD-10 book, what's most important? Thank you for the roses, Steph. Can you go through the first 30 pages of your ICD-10 book of what's most important, please? Okay. Tabs, leave them where they're at. Don't tab this book. There's no need in it. They're just going to get in your way. Do you mean the guidelines? Or do you mean how to use the book info? Because there are these pages that are in the front of your book, of your ICD-10, that talk about the book, what you need to know about it, certain laws and things like that, who made it up, because it's a collaboration with the World Health Organization, who just took over and accepted and started using ICD-11, which ICD-10's are already a decade old. So it's about time that the World Health Organization accepted the ICD-11, but it will have a huge amount of changes for sure, because the codes will no longer be 3 to 4 to 7 digits long. They're going to be 15 to 25. So We're going to have some big changes when we change over to this next year, or the year after, whenever the United States decides to do anything. But major things you need to know is understanding who the NCHS is. The chapters before the anatomy. Okay. You need to know the NCHS. You need to know the World Health Organization helps make up these ICD-10s. That's super important. List of some of the features are often really handy to know what they mean, why they mean that, practical steps to using the book. The major thing you need to know about this is knowing. Hey, cats, stop. Chloe, Magpie, if you're doing CCS, CCA, they pay more attention to these, what the numbers mean, what the first character means, what the second character means. AAPC isn't that particular on that. You two, stop it. Sorry, I had to separate the cats. They were rolling around in a ball like, what's that, hedgehog, the Sonic the Hedgehog? They were rolling around together, tied up in a ball, playing, but it was distracting. Yep. All these symbols could definitely be on the exam. They like to ask about these codes, the MACRA codes that are marked pink. The new codes, know what that symbol is, if it's got a new text. The placeholder, the X that we put in many of the ICD-10 codes, be sure you know that's called a placeholder. Simple things like that, not too bad. They don't go over the sex. They don't go pediatric or adult. But those symbols, if you're dealing with a peds patient, know what those means, that you would only be doing one that says pediatric. If it's a newborn, you'll only pick one that has the newborn. That could help you in one of the on one of the exam questions. That's helpful. Code first. Be sure you know what that means. Use additional and code also. Know where to find those definitions so you can get to this page first. If you're going to tab anything, tab it up here at the top, not on the side. And you could tab this page so you could get to this definitions really easily and fast. But definitely don't tab the sides. That's just going to get in your way, and they're not going to be helpful. They won't even stick out anymore. They're going to roll up and curl because you're going to move them around so much. But be sure you know those definitions for sure. Other things. You really need to know, too, that there are 3 indexes that are super important up in here. First, you've got your alphabetical index, which we all know. We don't index anything, but just know that that is there. Also know that you've got this external causes index. This could help. Just skimming through it once. I've got a video on YouTube about how I made these notes and what you should skim through this. Even one of my recent ones, because I just did the new book, the 2023, that will help you out a whole bunch to know these. Just knowing what status ICD-10 codes are, what does that mean, is super helpful. Just super helpful. These are the places that you can have accidents in. just anything like that. That just knowing that there's an extra whole nother index some people don't even know that they have is helpful. What else? Yeah, I know the cancer one's in here, and the drug one could be helpful. But more so the external causes. The alphabetical one is helpful if you don't know an anatomy term and you don't know where to find the answer. Just look up the anatomy word in here and see if you can't find it. Other things, where they get a lot of their anatomy questions from, but like I said, that document that I have on my website has more than enough anatomy in it that you can pass the anatomy part of the Aapc section with that document, what's been on the exam the last 45 days. But this is where they get a lot of their questions. They'll have anatomy right before you start to code things about that anatomy. And this is where they get their random anatomy questions from. So having a course or buying some anatomy book, you don't need it because they're getting their questions from these 2 pages because they're building the organ here, how it functions, and then the diseases that happen of that organ. They're all right here. This is where they're getting their questions from. That Skene's gland was on my exam. For sure, I'm still not over that one. Some lesser vestibular gland. Good gracious. I did OB and delivery forever and never heard about that gland, but yeah. Anyway, that's where they get the anatomy from, is straight out of this CPT book or ICD-10 book. So super helpful there. That's about it for the first pages of the book. I mean, there's some guidelines, of course, we need to pay attention to, but that's pretty much everything. They like to use a few of the anatomy pictures for the exam, but nothing too big. Thank you for 3 of those hearts. That's awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yep. Aapc sells all those practice questions. Yep. I don't sell any questions. I haven't had any time to make up really my own. I like to use Aapc's questions because, I mean, they write the certification exam. So why, we need to practice with their practice exam questions because they're as close as we're going to get to what's on the exam as we can, unless somebody figures out how to take some recording Ray-Bans in there and record the whole thing. Oh, the front of your CPT book. Be sure you've read the bit about what I call the mama and child code up here in the very front. It's the instructions on how to use your CPT book. If you're just starting out, you're going to want to read and understand this right here about the mama and the children codes. Very important to understand the relationship between these codes. You're going to want to know the differences between Category 1, Category 2, and Category 3 codes. Your differences between your add-on codes and your modifiers. And then your place of service. Those last 3 sentences there. Super important. And then your radiology, what I was wanting to talk about tonight, has a page in the very, very front of your book, XXIV, that's got the body planes in it and your body aspects, the side views, things that you would need to know for figuring out if you're doing 1 view, 2 view, 3 views. This page you'll use in conjunction with radiology. And I wish they moved it back here to radiology because I think it's more important to move back there. But I'm not on the committee yet to write this book. One of these days when I stop tutoring and mentoring, maybe I'll tell them about all the corrections I have to make every year to their book here. It's not a stupid book, but it's a book, and that they need to fix so that I don't have to do this every year. One of these days I'll get on their community. Let's hope so. But I don't want to recommend that to people that have not taken the exam the first time, and I'm talking about pocket prep, because that can give you 800 questions to practice. And unless you've done the exam and already really truly took to heart the 300 questions here on AAPC site, I don't want you going and just buying a bunch of stuff and then trying to comprehend 800 practice questions before you take your first attempt. It does not sound efficient to me at all. The AAPC practice exam questions have every sort of scenario, just about, on there for you that you're going to see on the exam. The questions will be written differently, but the scenarios are going to be the same. And you've got everything you need with this and the study guide with those other practice exams questions that they have in there too. That are going to see you through. And God, if you got a course, then that's even more practice exam questions. So before you go to Pocket Prep and buy 500 more, try to attempt the exam first with these. And then if you're close, if you are 10 points away from passing, then let's back it up with Pocket Prep. I don't think it's going to be efficient if you're trying to do all of this at once, for sure. But love Pocket Prep. I've had to use it for a couple of months before I decided to recommend it, and I do. If you're on your multiple attempts, then you need to go to Pocket Prep. Absolutely. It has a money back guarantee of some sort, but it is one of those sites that once they got your credit card, or debit card, they're going to charge it monthly until you come back and turn it off. Or quarterly or yearly. I bought it for a year and I'll buy it next year. It's fine. But just know you got to go back in there and turn it off. But they are AAPC appropriate questions. It appears that they are written by them and they actually use questions from the AAPC's ICD-10 book and HitPix book. And I think they're just fine and dandy. But I seriously think it is too much for somebody that has not ever attempted the exam before to go on and try that too. You're just going to get too scattered. I'd really rather you have all of these. I see some of you only were given A and B, and that's what y'all attempted an exam on. It would be better if you went in and gone and maybe bought just the bundle with D, E, and F. Then you would have had 150 more questions to go along with the 100 questions, whatever your course gave you. So these questions are going to be the most like what's on the exam for sure. For sure. Chloe, quit being annoying. All right. Let's do some radiology. And like I said, we are not going to look at the questions first. If you do, you won't get through with your exam on time. We have a difference between just two codes is all this is. It's a 45 and a 46. So let's go look up our codes. 710. 46 and 45. It's just a difference between a single view and two views of the chest. So right here they've got AP and lateral. Now they don't say two views, but it does say AP and lateral. Anterior, posterior, and lateral. So that means we're going to do our 46 which means we can get rid of our 45s. That gets us down to a 50-50. Now, are we going to do a symptom or are we going to do a psych or whatever F is? What I'd like to do is just look at the sidebar here of any one of the ICD-10s. So if we're under F, A, B, C, D, E, F, and then G, so F is under the header for mental behavioral issues. And then R, if you look at any one of the R's, that yellow, the sidebar says signs and symptoms. That's good enough to be able to answer this. Am I x-raying somebody's chest because they have a mental disorder? Messes with my phone every time I put it in the crane. So we would probably be doing it for the R code for the signs and symptoms. So I just use some, mental math there and decide I want to pick B. Jen, guess what? Hold on. Hello, Jen. Hey, PJ. Thanks, Jen. I appreciate it. It's so hard for me to study. I find myself there on your page hoping to learn this way. That's awesome, Steph. And I don't want you to study. I want you to make notes. Studying is for first graders, second graders, third graders. We did that all of our life. We don't need to memorize anything. All I want you to do is to hunt for information and put it in your book so that you have it during your exam. Find codes that are the same. Radiological exam. This one's spine, this one's spine. Well, this one's specify level. This one is 2 to 3 views. This is an x-ray. That means it's just one level. That's what that means. And this is a spine of 2 to 3 views. Just write the differences down. You just need to gather info and put it in your books. Those exam questions that AAPC has that we go over, if you find that a frontal and lateral view of the thoracic spine is this answer, then write it down on the page and highlight it. Then if on your test, your differences between this code and that code, and you've got this one highlighted, that you made a note about it, you can read this real quick, and if it's the same thing you're doing right there during the exam, then you know what the answer is. Perfect. This question that we did right here, AP and lateral of the chest is 40146. See how I put AP and lateral right underneath the code so that I knew I was doing 2 views, AP and lateral. Update. All you got to do is take practice exam questions, take a word or two from each question and put it near the code. That way you've got reference material during your exam. You don't have to memorize anything. You don't even need to have to know how to code to pass this exam. The test is already coded for you. The answer's already there. You're not having to index or code anything. You just need to be able to pick out the right answer. And look, example, diagnosis is cough, RO5. Straight from these practice exam questions. And then I have all the ones that I bought, plus all the ones Jen hunted down and found for you and presented during tutoring, whatever you want to call this, during our little interactive live. Then you've got even more stuff added to your books, but no studying. You're just documenting. You're just taking notes. You don't have to study anything. Not a thing. And Belle says, Jen guest watch. I'm proctoring the exams now. You go, girl. That's awesome. I sent in a request to proctor 4 exams in Las Vegas next year so that if I have anybody that I'm mentoring that just wants me in the room with them while they take their exams, I thought we could make a trip of it. Medical Coding by Jen trip. Y'all get the plane tickets. I'll put you in a hotel room, and then, because I'm a local in Vegas, we can get better prices than y'all can. So I'll get the room. You can come fly in. Flying into Vegas is cheap, and then you could take your exam while I proctor. I'll do 4 next year. We'll see. In-person exams. See if anybody has an interest in that, and see if I can help out more people. Can't give you the answers, but I can be in the room with you. Maybe send some good mojo with you. That's awesome. Should be proctoring in person, I'm assuming. Is anyone else having connection problems? So glad I found you. I'm glad you found me too. Thank you, Anointed. We got more little hearties. I'm so glad I found you. You're sent from heaven. Aw, I'm happy to help. Happy to help. All my repeat lives here from TikTok go on YouTube too. So if you miss one, you can go there and you can watch them in your free time. Your family will get tired of hearing my voice. I'm sure many, many partners are very jealous of me until they get their CPC. Then they don't have to listen to me all the time. But you can listen on your way to work, whatever, on the way home, while you're doing laundry, whatever. Just let it soak in from all areas. And there's tons of videos, almost 300 of them up right now. All for free. I do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights, 2 hours each. And if something comes up or bad weather or whatever, I make up for it during the week. But usually we're here Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So glad you're proctoring. Yep. We miss you too, but so glad you're out there living your best coding life. That's awesome. Do you do that through the entire book? ICD-10 book, like what will take quite some time? Yes, I do it throughout the entire CPT book, and no, I don't do it throughout the entire ICD-10 book. I do my top 10 guidelines that I know are on the exam. Like I start out with sepsis. I know you're going to get a sepsis question. You know you are. It's always on every one of their exams. So I go through, write every kind of scenario I can find from a practice question about sepsis. Then I go through cancer and do all the different guidelines associated with cancer, whether the visit is here for chemo, if they're here for anemia, if they're here for anemia due to cancer, if they're here because they're dehydrated due to cancer, there's different guidelines or sequencing. So I put them all on the first page of cancer, and that's it, and move on. I go to the diabetes and do the E10 and E11, I do all those scenarios. What else do I have in here? Pain. I've got the pains in here under the G somewhere, wherever pain is. So usually ask about pain. And hernias, that kind of stuff. What are you doing, Chloe? Just the top 10s. Just the top ones that are the majorly important ones. What did I highlight there? Pituitary glands. Yep. I might ask about those pituitary glands. Here's the pain. Something. What am I doing over here? Oh, the prostate. Prostate cancer. They have those. Prostate cancer ones are always on there. I highlight important things about the sinuses or the cystic fibrosis that was on the exam, knowing that is chromosome 7. Anything that I find out from people that have told me what was on there, cirrhosis of the liver, when they have alcoholism, I put that one in there. I have all the HIVs in here. I have all the pregnancies, first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, anything like that of course, is filled out throughout here. I have some burn patients, some other external causes of accidents, getting hit with a baseball, being in a bar fight. I have some of those scenarios also listed out in the book for sure, somewhere, wherever they are. And then I move certain guidelines to certain chapters, like these are never coded first because they're the morbidity ones. And then I move my order of sequencing coding near there too. So I don't do the entire book, but I do my top 10 ICD-10s. But the entire CPT book does get worked through. Absolutely. Every single page. And I update all the anatomy with the important anatomy information that we need. For sure. Let me let out my cat. She is staring at me. All right, Chloe. You ready to go out too? Yeah. Grandma's watching Hocus Pocus 2 in there with the boys. It's so cute. So cute. If you want my ICD-10 notes, they're on my website at medicalcodingbyjen.com under the shop. Or just watch my lives. Thank you, Anointed. Where do you purchase and take the online exam? Aapc website. Everything that you need to know is on the aapc.com website. They'll tell you about all their certifications they do, all the training, whatever you might need, but I wouldn't recommend buying any courses. All you need is those practice exam questions, their study guide to go along with it, and an updated CPT book. I have a TikTok that goes over all of that, and YouTube video too. Where's my TikTok? There it is. So we go there. Where do I start? It's pinned right there, and that tells you where to start. But in order to sit for the exam, whether in person or online, you do need to be a member of Aapc. They'll charge you $190 a year. And then you can buy an attempt to take and become certified either once or twice. You can have, I recommend buying 2 attempts. You can do them either both in person or both online from home. You just have to meet a lot of requirements as far as internet speed and that kind of stuff. But all that info can be found at Aapc website. Once you're ready to take your CPC exam or whatever medical coding certificate you decide to take, you've got your books prepped and ready to go. That's when you come to my lives, and I will teach you how to pass the exam from the exam point of view. For sure. Do you think time difference would be difficult if I'm in another country while hired by a medical company? No. You would just have to, hey lady, you just need to rearrange your life in your country to fit the time zone here in America, because you're going to have to work your 8 hours, probably more than that, right? You got to take your lunch break. So 9 hours has to be devoted of your 24 hours to a job here. Then you have to worry about kids and family life. You need 8 hours to work on yourself and your relationships in your home. And then you need 8 hours of sleep. So it's totally up to you, but there's many countries that hire medical coders in any country. I mean, Dubai has $100 an hour jobs open right now for medical coders remotely. So, you can work anywhere. You can work remotely anywhere, but you have to adjust your life to whatever the job hours are. Thank you, Twinkle. You're wondering if there's a position where you could do it at your own time and grace. I'm not sure. Many companies have their own work hours and work schedules. Now, as a medical auditor myself, I work at my own time and pace. Now, they do require me to attend Zoom meetings or things like that during their time, but I do have, being salary, I do have freedom to come and go as I please from my desk and do what I want. But I have to, keep aware of messages on my message phone and return calls to employees during their hours and things like that. But just to be set free and work on your own, not as an entry level coder, I doubt it. But I don't know. I don't know what's out there in the market. Amazon is even hiring right now to do medical coding because they got a new pharmacy line. You have to be trained. So you can't just, I'm a medical coder, let me do something on my own. You will spend a couple of months being trained by somebody during their American time before you're released to do whatever you want on your own. So you will have to be monitored closely for a while, and you'll have to attend meetings, I'm sure, with supervisors during their time zone. So I don't know. You don't have to work for America. You can work for any country, I'm sure. Maybe one closer to your time zone. There's job openings everywhere. But never know what you can find. If there's a will, there's a way. There's ambulance companies, helicopter companies, home health agencies. Everybody needs medical coders, so I'm sure you could find something. I just wrote all those down. You are so helpful. That's awesome. The what's been on the exam the last 45 days is on Etsy, or it's on my website at medicalcodingbyjen.com under the shop. It was updated, I believe, around 9/1 or 9/2. What in the world was that? Oh, trash cans. It's trash can night. I got to take the trash cans down. Oh, let me see my phone. Make sure it's not dying. I don't have anything plugged up. I don't have my laptop plugged up either. Where's my chargers? Before everything dies. Wrong charger. Oh, come here. There's for the lappy. I was roaming around the house today. And here's the charger for the lappy top. Or for the cell phone, I mean. Okay. Here we go. Do you recommend purchasing the study guide from Amazon? Depends on what study guide you're talking about. I don't know. Does Amazon have an AAPC study guide on it? Usually not. I haven't seen any on there that are the AAPC's versions. So I just Google search AAPC study guide, switch my search to shopping. And textbooks.com has a 2020 version for $43 with free shipping. Whatever this Books Run has a 2022 version for $24.61 with free shipping. So most of the time I just go straight to whatever this is. eBay is more expensive. Do not buy that. There's a 2021 version from Aapc. I know many people have been using them, and they've been getting good results getting it from aapbooks.com. Free shipping, $37. Great deal right there. Don't buy that. $80, too much. $49 for a 2020 version with free shipping. Don't buy that. Don't buy that. Don't buy that. Do not buy that. Do not buy that. No. No, no, no. No, no, no. There's one from eBay. Do not buy that thing. No, 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 no. This has ICD 9 questions in it. It's terrible. I did buy this. I'm not sure. I haven't gone through it all yet to see if it's worth it, but I doubt it. I haven't found anything that's worth it. $60 on McCary with $10 shipping. That's kind of expensive. But Aapc is a good place for sure. Recommend them. I don't know of any on Amazon like that sell like that. All right, I took an Aapc course. I do have to pay individual price for or the student cost. I don't know, Anointed. You will be able to find that out when you go to checkout. I don't work for Aapc and I don't know all their prices off the top of my head. I wished I did. I am a guest educator for them, but I don't. Their website's easy to navigate. You'll be able to find that out for sure. Here's our next question. You have your exam on 11/5. You're super nervous. You got this. I do. I've worked remote since 2013. My father passed away September in 2019, and I started working remotely from home that December. I told my employer that I was going to go move in with my mom. She didn't want to live alone. And she wanted us to move to her state, which was in Arizona. So my employer said, just take the computer home and work from home then. And I've been doing it ever since. If you complete the course, do you pay $190 or $125? I'm sure they'll tell you at Aapc. I have no idea. Hey, Jen, where can I find what's been on the exam the last 45 days? So if we go to medicalcodingbyjen.com, go to shop, drop down menu. It'll be here. Load more. Is that it right there? Repeat workshop? Nope. What's been on the exam in the last 60 days? Because it's like 70 pages now. It's right there. That's the location of it. Just add it to your cart. It's 70-something pages. It's big. I need to update that, but it's there. medicalcodingbyjen.com. It's cheaper there on my website than it is on Etsy. The study guide on Amazon is $109 from Aapc. That's expensive. You saw I brought one up from 2022 that was like $45. That's a much better price than what Aapc will charge you. All right. Let's get back to these radiology questions. So I only got 30 minutes more before I got to go. All right. We got 3600 written several times. So let's go see what that one's about. 736. Zero, zero. That's our ankle. That's that ankle I was telling y'all about. Would we times it by itself, add another code, or times it times 2 if we were doing anterior, posterior, lateral views of the ankle? Ooh, Tiffany's going to go schedule her exam. When are you going to take it? Yep, it's just the code by itself. That is our anterior, posterior, lateral view. Yes, if you don't put in a correct email address wherever you purchase that document at, I cannot go searching and looking for everybody and then getting a valid email address from you. You have to make sure that Etsy or my website for your shipping address, email address, is legitimately correct. If you purchased it and your email address is not legit or correct, it's fake from Apple phone or whatever, then you won't get an updated copy. And I can't go back in and henpeck and try to add that one email and get back to all the emails. I have the worst time trying to just answer all the emails from the 13,000 of you, much less hunting you down and trying to see if you got your updated copy every time I send it out. I update it monthly and send it out monthly, and I announce it in Discord and on Facebook when it is updated and when the emails do go out. So if you purchased it with a fake email address, you're not going to get the updated copy. And then just to get a hold of me, to get me to stop whatever I'm running around doing, to send you your own individual email for the new update is challenging. It is. And I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to forget or not do it, or it's just not an automated process for me like it is when I have to go through, and I go through every single order and copy paste all the email addresses into one email every month. So, and I have to put that in blind copy. So I go through every order and copy and then go to the email and hit paste and then copy and paste and go back and forth for an entire year and make sure that everybody gets an updated copy. I do that once a month and it takes me all day to do it, but I do it just to make sure that I don't miss anybody's email addresses from each order form. So if you're sending me emails later on saying I need it sent to a different email address, then it just slows down the process, and I can't do that for everybody. So it's hard. So just please, if you're going to purchase anything like that that's going to be reoccurrent from me, verify that the email address is correct before you make that purchase. All right, we've got a 788 or a 704 or a 705. Because the 788 is down there twice, I might go to those two first and see what those differences are. So 788, what have we got? 788, 15, and 16. I don't have like this email generator or nothing fancy. I just have to do everything manually, so it's rough. We've got our skull base to mid thigh or the whole body is our differences. So let's check out and look for just those questions or words. So we've got from the neck, chest, abdomen to pelvis to mid-thigh. We're done. So one of them is skull, base to mid-thigh, which is our 15. And unless we did the whole body, them saying mid-thigh makes me think about the 15. What do you guys think? Yep. I scheduled mine before Christmas and I'm in Vegas. If I fail, I hope you can proctor. That's awesome. You're in Vegas too? Yeah, I'm about 2 hours away from Vegas in Laughlin. Arizona chapter is 5 hours away from me in Phoenix, so I never did go there. I joined the Las Vegas site so that it's at least a little bit closer. And they're super mad because they didn't have a lot of people participate this year in people wanting to be president or vice president or run that chapter. So they need volunteers there right away. I just live too far away to actually run a whole chapter. I wouldn't want to do that too far away. I used to have a job up there in Vegas as a contract worker. I worked a home health agency that failed their CHAPS audit, and I worked there a whole year. I'd drive up there on Fridays, spend the night, and come back to fix their whole home health agency and so that they could pass their audit. That was fun. I wouldn't mind doing once a week, but it's a lot of work. And the kids were young and they were both homeschooled then, so I could bring them with me. But now they're in school and it's harder now. For what sections of this exam do we do the process of elimination? We do it for every section except for E&M. So this one, I eliminated the 704 and the 705 because they're odd. I like the 788 and the 788 because they're both the same. So then this was just to the thighs and this was to the whole body. And I just looked for those different words. That's all. Picked my answer. I don't know who they are, why they're there. Don't even know what dang test was ordered. Could care less. All I needed to look for was mid-thigh and whole body. I don't need to know nothing else. It's just going to slow you down. These two will be a little bit more difficult to do the process of elimination with because we got actually two different sections. I need to know if the 60s have a different header than the 80s and 90s, but I do like the 60s because they're closer together. So let's just check and see if we're under the same header, the right header, 777. So seven, 6, 2, intermediate versus our 61. So we're going to have 1 to 4 sources or 5 to 10 sources. 1 to 4 or 5 to 10. That's all I need to worry about. We're looking for sources. So let's find our words. How many did we do? We did 6. 6. So if we did the number 6, we would be intermediate, which is 62. And that's all I'm going to look up. I'm not going to look up nothing else. Just needed a number. That's all I needed. And move on with my question. I don't need to know who they are. Nothing else out of that whole question. Yep. It's all we needed. These are all going to be in a row, 40, 42, 43, and 46. Probably 42 and 43 are the closest, but they're all going to be in a row. 705. let's see, 705.42 and 43. One's with contrast, one's without. Did we use contrast or not? Remember? Followed by contrast material. So I would pick C. And I would not bother with the diagnoses at all because my first codes are all different, so it could not matter at all in the least little bit about what comes afterwards. I just need to pick out the correct answer. C is the correct one. You got it. You got it. These are all in a row. I see we've got the 66 down twice. I'd pay hard attention to that. 77.066. Oh. 66. 67 I have highlighted, so it must have been on my exam. We're talking about diagnostic mammograms, whether we're unilateral or bilateral, or the screening mammogram. It don't matter about the patient's history. It don't matter about nothing. It matters about what the order was for. What was our order for? What did they do today? She already had her recent screening, so we know we're going to get rid of that one. Are we doing one side or two sides? We're doing just the left. This one's bilateral. That one's bilateral. So we know our only answer can be B. Does that make sense? We didn't do both sides, so it would not be bilateral. Kind of tricked me having the answer down twice. But if you just keep straight, how many did you do? You'll be fine. You'll see through it. I'm glad you love this method. That's awesome. Don't need to know who she is, what kind of issues she had, none of that stuff. Nope, nope, nope. All right. When we have wordy ones, oh, come on. When we'd have wordy ones, come on. Let's focus. Let me focus. Come on. Focus, 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 focus. Focus a little bit better. Okay. When we have wordy ones, we could still, we have two that are radiographic. One that's a test and one's an abdominal. So you can think about things like that. I like to see similarities. Sometimes they end in the same words. Sometimes they'll begin with the same words. I'm glad this is helping. That's awesome. 4 weeks in class, and this is the simplifying it. Yes, yes. All that fancy words and complicated vocabulary is just silliness. They can break it down to where anybody can do this. So we know a gram is an X-ray, right? Anything with that word back here is an X-ray. We know we're doing the ureter. You know what a ureter is. right? We've got one answer with ureter in it. I mean, and it says X-ray, which is a graph, a radiograph, right? Yep. There you go. Just look for words that match. Well, Boots, you got a freaking subscription? My goodness. What am I going to do for you for free? I have no idea. You can now share Travis's, oh my God, picture, whatever he's doing. That's kind of cute. That's awesome. My YouTube people, subscribers, get free workshops, replays, without having to purchase them. And then I'll have to come up with something for the subscribers for TikTok. Maybe TikTok lives where they're the only ones that can talk, but I don't know. Don't know what in the heck to do for you. You have to let me know. Oh, I can make TikToks for you. So if there's a particular subject you want me to go over or a particular code, just message me what you want me to make and I'll make you your own TikTok. How about that? We're going to skip that one. It's not radiology. Let's see about this one. Got another wordy one. What is the correct code when selecting a patient is given oral contrast to complete a CT scan? I've talked to y'all guys all day about this. Do we code with contrast? Not if they're given oral or rectal, right? So we can get rid of the ones that say with. These three do say without. This one says without contrast. This one says without and with. We know we can get rid of that one. This one says without contrast and code for the oral admission. Did our guidelines say anything about doing that to code a separate administration fee? It didn't. So we know our answer is B. You do already do a lot for, oh, no. I'm happy to help out. Happy to help out. I just thought passionately about how unfair it was that the course was that unhelpful. And I thought there's an easier way to teach this than to make people pay $3,000 for some mess like that. I saw somebody selling their course, teacher-led course with some free tabs to go in your books. And I'm like, oh my. They're going to give you free tabs so you can tab up your books. Oh boy, what a blessing. Okay, our code 76853. Non-obstetric. True or false? Can be used to describe the examination of either the male or female pelvis. 76857. Let's go look. 76857. 57. It says limited for follicles. And it does say in the mama code, it is an ultrasound pelvic non-obstetric. Technically, it covers the cervix, the uterus, the ovaries, tubes and bladders, the Skene's gland. But can it do male and female? True or false? What do you think? Keep doing whatever you do because it's helpful. I've had many people pass. I got a handful of people I can count since April of 2021 that I've been tutoring Students, I got a handful that have not passed yet. I don't have entire classroom full of people that do not pass. And every time a set goes to go take their exams, a bunch pass. It's an exam that unless you've taken it before, you have no idea how to prepare for it. And no matter how much I try to show you, it's hard to prepare for an exam that you've never taken before, especially that one. And I'm amazed that people do pass first tries. It's amazing. But usually it takes 3 attempts to pass, which is unfortunate because then you got to buy a whole nother set of attempts. But do my best to try to do whatever I can to make sure you pass the first 2 attempts, because I hate for anybody to have to spend more money. Because y'all, just the membership and to pay to take the exam, the books, and the practice exams, that's enough money. That's enough money for all of you to have to spend on this. But it's a worthwhile career for sure. And you can do anything once you get into medicine. It's crazy how doors open up. All right. This is true. We are actually very true. This one code can be for male and female. So if you don't have those notes down on that CPT code, because the descriptor doesn't say, then please write male and female pelvis. I mean, just working for the health department or the TRICARE, the VA, or anything, coding for them, 20 years, you've got your retirement. It's great. Maintaining a 97.9. Woohoo! I'm a terrible test taker. You must be doing excellent at taking tests. That's great. I see words that aren't there or don't see words that are there. Isn't that weird? I mean, that sounds so funny to say, but when I'm taking an exam that I've never taken before and I'm focused, I'm there to take the dang test, I'll read a question and then take the test, but then you could show me that test again after I took it and make me read it out loud, and I'll swear there was not those questions, or the questions were worded differently the next time I see that same exam. It's funny. It's funny how our brains work. I swear that and or was not there. It was. Hard to prepare. Oh, Trinessa, I miss you so much. Our everyday talking every day. I miss you. For an exam you've never taken before, but you're the best at teaching at us. I miss my Florida girl. I hope you survived the hurricane okay. My professor says, don't even try till after the summer. And I was like, what? Health science double major for this. I typed the wrong number, huh? I have a reread my own entries. Yep, me too. I try to rush the trickery. Yes, definitely. That's good. That's good. I'm so glad you made it out of that hurricane okay. You didn't have lizards floating by, your big, huge iguana-like lizard thingies floating by the house. Like, I guess that's one way of getting rid of them. Things are aggressive looking. They look like dinosaurs. All right, CT scan. We've got the 78 is listed twice, so definitely pay attention to that. There's usually a reason. So 741. Let's go see 741. Seven, 4, 1, 7, 8. With and without contrast. 77 is with contrast only, and 76 is no contrast at all. What did we do? We did without contrast. So we know it's our first one, right? Our 76. Without contrast material would be coated. Yep. C is the only one without, right? 2 regions, abdomen and pelvis. Probably. Abdomen and pelvis without contrast. You know, the other thing I did in my book is, and I'm going to do it better next year for 2023, is anytime the code says without, I'm going to put a line through that word, whatever it is. Now, when it says with and without, I'm going to leave it alone. But when it's just plain out tells me it doesn't have it in there, why even have that word there? Because this looks, if you're just looking near the code, it looks like CT contrast with the contrast. But you have to pay attention to the without. So I'm going to do more of that throughout the whole book when it says without, and just get rid of it. Because all I need to know is when it does have without it. This says without and then followed by with and without. But anyway, I'm going to get rid of those. Don't need that. So without contrast, then don't write contrast there. Just put a CT abdomen. That's all I need. This is CT abdomen with contrast. This is CT without and with. I don't need that there. I might pick the wrong thing, not looking properly. So just like I get rid of those times oneses. There's no reason to have the times 1 there. Just silliness. All right. All right, we need to know if we can bill this 080 with other codes, or we multiply it. What do we do for this one? We're doing hips, pelvis, and spine. So 770. Then we got 80. That's our DEXA with 1 or more sites, axial skeletal. Remember how I colored in our skeletor in muscular skeleton? So if we go to our skeleton guy here, there's a reason why you do these. The green is axle bones. The pink is appenditure bones. And that can help you stay focused on whether you're the right skeleton for this code right here, because this one says axial skeleton, hips, pelvis, and spine. And then the other one says appenditure, peripheral, meaning the wrist and heels, the extremities, that kind of stuff. So that helps out. It doesn't say the word each in the CPT code descriptor, so we don't times it. 3 regions, 10 minutes. Yep, I like our 80. I like that sucker all by itself. Sounds good to me. There we go. Perfect. Good night, Sassy. See you later. Drive careful. I'll post the remainder of this up on YouTube. Let's do this one again with different areas, okay? So we're going to find out if we're axial or the AP spines. We're doing wrist, hips, including vertebral fractures. So it looks like hips, spine, and wrist. Would we be an 80, 81? And then would we include a secondary code? Would we need our modifier if we're going to add 2 codes under the same header? things I would think about as I'm looking at these answers. We're under the same header, and if I'm going to bill the 80 with the 81, would I need that modifier? That might make me pick that only one answer if I understand that one particular guideline-ish thing that goes along with any CPT code. If you're billing under the same header, 2 codes for 2 different procedures under the same mama code or header, whatever, a mama and a child together, you've got to be able to tell the plan that you're billing that there's a reason for it. Yeah, we really did mean to put both those codes down because we did do 2 procedures, and that's what your modifier 59 is for. So that makes things a little easier for you. You don't have to go wandering around. You can see that that's the only answer with the correct modifier in it. So without even looking at the codes, you could pick B. There's your rationale if you wanted it. Yep, 85 is vertebral, and our 81 captures that wrist. This one is the documentation of a throat scope must include which of the following? Are we going to do a visualization of sinuses? We do have 2 answers with sinuses included in them. So that makes me think that it's probably a difference between A and B, or one of their favorite answers is all of the above, but you got to be careful. Sometimes it's not always that answer. Which one would it be if we're doing a laryngoscope? It's actually B on this one. Laryngoscopes include the pie. I think that's about the only question I've ever seen where all of the above or none of the above is the wrong answer. Normally it's always the right answer, but there will be that 1% chance that it's not going to be that answer. So it's good to find the tricky ones and get the notes written in. Yeah, that was a tricky one. The meatus is part of your nose. This pie sinus is part of your throat. That's the thing you clear all the time, like that. Yep. And then when you blow your nose, you do the medius one, clear those sinuses. And this is just a silly answer because there's tons of sinuses. They're just, everywhere. So you got plenty of them. Yeah. So laryngoscopes, where are your laryngoscopes in your book? We're going to be probably respiratory. What would be respiratory? Yeah. You can look in the back of the book, back here. Let's find some CPT codes that go with laryngoscope. So LAR, YNGO, scope, right here. So we've got our 31525s. Do they have one that says sinuses? I'm just wondering. They're all in the same thing. Newborns. Yep. So they're all the same. So diagnostic is 31525. That little index is very handy for if you don't know the definition of an anatomy term, you can use it to find a CPT code, which can help you figure out what body part you're working on. So we've got our laryngoscopes right here. So here we could write in oh gosh, my oldest is up. That means he's going to want to go to the gym. Oh my gosh. Great. YNGOSCOPY. Oops. It includes visual of that PYNIFORM sinus. There we go. Get it all written in. I don't know what I pushed on my computer, but there we go. And that's for the diagnostic one. Digestive also has it. All right. One more, and we got to go. And you're not going to get an A, B, C, or D answer. So you're going to have to come up with this one all by yourself. Where would we code this one? And there is no A, B, C, or D with it. You're just going to have to go to radiology or index it, whatever you want to do. Yep, it's going to be in radiology. Where would we... What are we doing? We're doing growth, gestational age, and rule out any... Yep. So, where are our baby ultrasounds? Where are those? Got ultrasounds of the breast we did earlier. All right. Ultrasounds of the babies is around 768. Things you got to check for is to make sure you're not vaginally early in the trimesters, or are you over the top at the belly? What are you doing? We've got an 05. Anybody agree with that one? 76805. Would we be doing the 05? Which is the ultrasound pregnant uterus. Second trimester. Transabdominal. So she says 05. What about our 76816? If you looked at that descriptor, because it does standard growth perimeters. It is a follow-up, though. I don't know if this one is a follow-up. $15 is limited. It does the heartbeat and position. It's just a quick one. I don't think it does any of the fetal growth retardation. I don't know. We're just looking for gestational age. Tick tock, tick tock. You got 120 seconds. Chromosomal defect is number 13. It looks for chromosomal defects, which would help for growth retardation. Levy was correct with her 05. She was perfect with that first answer. That is the actual one that we would use. The purpose of this one is called the antenatal screening. It is the one where you check out and make sure of the gestational age and the fetal growth retardation. So if you don't have, wow, solar system, that was cool. Boots and Bites, that galaxy was so cool. I think that's my very first ever galaxy. Underneath the 05, be sure and write these two words, and then gestational age and fetal growth and retardation. And that will help. Thank you so much for the galaxy. That was beautiful. I hope this radiology live has been helpful for you guys. We've got another one coming up on Wednesday night, another 2 hours, 6:30 Arizona time zone. And I don't know, we haven't done cardiology in a while. What should we do? What should we do? You're very welcome. What kind of code should we do? Yes, the answer was the 76805. She was correct with her very first statement as to which code was correct. Yes, perfect. Anybody feel like cardiology? Yeah, that last one was hard because you didn't have A, B, C, or D to answer. But I thought we'd leave it on a more challenging one, see what you can do without the answers. That's why knowing that this exam is an A, B, C, or D, and you don't have to code anything, it's a challenge, but it's a blessing too, because heck, if all you got to do is look for those one-word differences when you have A, B, C, or D, it's great. You'd hate to have to code an entire exam of 100 questions or scenarios. That would be awful. It'd be traumatic. There's too much and not enough information ever in those scenarios. So it makes you really like the A, B, C, and D scenario. So take advantage that you have the A, B, C, and D scenarios there. Go to the codes, already have the one-word differences written down beside them, and then just search the question for those one-word differences or AKA terms that could mean the same thing as what you have written down here. Makes a world of difference. You don't need to know who they are, how old they are, what kind of history they had. You're going to slow yourself down and get yourself confused. Just really know what those 2 differences are, 3 differences are, 4 differences are, and search the question that way. Makes things a whole lot easier. I'm glad you're liking the 2020 Me Giggles. That's awesome. You keep at it. Just read that thing good through, make notes, move examples over. Yep, we'll do some cardiology on Wednesday, and only 2 mistakes in one night in 2 hours. That's great. You're doing wonderful. All right, guys, who have I got to tutor tomorrow? I know I got somebody. I know I got 2 people to tutor tomorrow. Somebody wanted to reschedule, but I don't remember what day this week, but I got to figure that out and fix that. up because somebody wants to reschedule for November. They're just not ready yet. That's okay. I'm here. I'm happy to reschedule whatever you need. She's in the morning. So, Trinessa, my morning one's rescheduling. So maybe you and I can make some time in the morning. And then I have somebody in the afternoon. So, if Miss Edwards is still on. Hey, sunshine. It's good to see you guys. Can we do components of vaccines? I love components of vaccines. Love, love, love components of vaccines. I'll tell Travis she said hi. Yes, we can do components. Yes, so see you when the boys leave in the morning, about 8:15. That'll be fun. All right, I got to get off here. I'm being summoned to the gym, and then I got to get some sleep before Miss Edwards in the morning. All right, guys. Can you show us what to write by 76805? Yes. You're going to write that antenatal screening. Then you're also going to write down gestational age and fetal growth retardation. It's a lot, but yes. Thanks, Red. All right. I hope that helps, guys. I see you in the morning, Miss Edwards. All right. Good night. 35 of you still on. That's awesome. Nice crowd. Thank you, guys.